Hey all, Baruch Levy B here from Soul Center. Today we are talking cancel culture. Now we're going to talk about it not to be political. I'm not interested in politics. I spent too many years as a rabbi watching politics divide communities and families. I never spoke about it. I'm not speaking about it now because this is not a political conversation. This is about living a good life, literally living a good life in a good society. But that's the challenge that I see right now with cancel culture, that we are diminishing goodness. How does that work? Because it was Voltaire who said, perfection is the enemy of the good. What I see right now with cancel culture is perfection, holding people to standards of perfection. You know who's perfect? Nobody. God's perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. Certainly our ancestors weren't perfect, but you know what? They're going to look back on us and say, they weren't so perfect either. But when you hold people to perfect standards, it's actually immoral. Why? Well, I wrote a blog this week on Dr. Seuss, and I got both positive and negative or challenging responses, as is always the case, and as it should be. And I want to talk about that. The challenges I got were, what do you agree with stereotypes and caricatures and bigotry? Unequivocally, absolutely, no way in hell. I spend my life defending, right? Defending. Well, the number one commandment in the Bible is remember you were a stranger, so take care of the stranger. Defending the stranger, the other, making sure that they're not treated as other. And what's happening right now in cancel culture is other, right? That this isn't a person. This is just an idea that needs to be shot down, and a book that needs to be burned, and a TV show that needs to be canceled, and ultimately a person that needs to be canceled, because that's what's happening is we're reducing these people to other, and we're going after them viciously. No matter what they say, no matter how much they apologize, it doesn't matter. They're canceled. They're gotten rid of from whatever genre or area of influence they're in. And it's wrong. It's wrong what's happened with Dr. Seuss. Do I stand by the caricatures? I don't know. They're complicated. First of all, I look at somebody's intention. Intention matters. I hear over and over again, attention doesn't matter. It does matter. If Dr. Seuss was a bigot and he drew those because he wanted to get a message of hate across, then that does matter. But anybody who's read Dr. Seuss knows that there are Sneetches with stars and Sneetches with Nars, or whatever it goes. And they're all just Sneetches on the beaches. His whole message was about harmony, love, unity, oneness. So his intention was not to hurt. Now, does it hurt? I don't know. In the 21st century, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I have friends who are of color, and some say it's ridiculous. I know Native Americans who told me that the whole issue around the Redskins, the Washington Redskins, to them was ridiculous. Some it wasn't. Some it was important. Fine. Let's have that conversation. If the intention wasn't malicious, then we need to sit down and talk about, well, in this day and age, knowing that his intention was good, does it still communicate what needs to be communicated? I'm willing to have that conversation, but I'm not so delicate that it's off limits, and neither are the people that I know. We're not as delicate and sensitive as that we have to now get rid of the entire book. You can't read if I ran a zoo because of those pictures. Maybe they need to be gotten rid of. I'm willing to have it, but it's a conversation. Maybe they need to be used as an educational platform to teach. Well, his context mattered too. Context matters. He wrote him in, what it is, in the 1940s is when I think he wrote that book. It was a different context with different sensitivities, just like the couch you're sitting on is made of a cow, and the food you eat is made of flesh, and the cars you drive are fossil fuels. You don't think your great great grandchildren are going to judge you for that? What if they invalidate everything you do because of that? What if you spent your life doing good and you didn't know any better, or you did know better, and you know what? In our day and age, it just doesn't have the same import. Dr. Seuss spent his life fighting Nazis and Jim Crow, bigotry. I think 400 cartoons against it was Nazis and bigotry. I mean, the man deserves better than to have his books removed. You'll say, "Ah, I'm just being dramatic." You start burning books. Was it, I forgot who said it, Bonhoeffer or somebody? The next thing that happens is you start burning people. I'm not suggesting that we're going to burn books and then we're going to burn people, but burning books is never good, right? And we are burning his books. When you can hit delete and it literally disappears off my Kindle shelf, it's the same thing as a book burning worse. It's easier. There's no smoke, there's no fire. You go into my house without me even bringing the book and you burn it. Again, you'll say, well, Amazon didn't burn books, or we're not. The Seuss Foundation pulled it proactively. They're scared. The woke mob is scary. It's not coming after the books. It's coming after foundations and businesses and people. And it's escalating and it's growing and it's turning Dr. Seuss and Abraham Lincoln and people into other, right? It's so deeply disturbing. I saw a woman put on Facebook when it happened, I'm so ashamed, she said, that I have been reading Dr. Seuss to my kindergartners or whatever the grade she was reading to them all these years, and I just didn't know he was a bigot. He wasn't a bigot. He was a good man fighting for good things. He wasn't a perfect man. And held by perfect standards, we invalidate the man, the sacrifices that he probably made being a liberal, fighting for these causes, and we're just going to destroy his good name. That's all we have after the grave is the good name and those good works. To throw them out without having a conversation is wrong. And yet you can go buy Mein Kampf on Amazon. Check it out. Go buy Mein Kampf. Buy Mein Kampf. I want you to buy Mein Kampf, not because I believe those ideas should be disseminated, because I believe they're vile. And I believe they need to be studied and understood and contextualized and shown for the bad intention. They still have a place on the shelf because I don't want to cancel the book. I don't want to cancel history. I don't want to cancel even Adolf Hitler. I don't want to cancel him. I want to win the war. And how do we win the war? By teaching that it's vile, that it's hate. Want to watch a terrifying show? The Man in the High Castle. If they won, they would be teaching their version of history. It's now our turn, because we won, thank God, to teach the truth about history, not to cancel history, not to make it go away, but to believe that A, people can handle the truth. B, we're resilient enough to show them, yeah, these are problematic pictures. This is problematic, if not an evil, in the case of Mein Kampf, idea. Let's discuss it and let's pick it apart and let's use this as the fuel to make the world a better place. You don't get there by canceling Lincoln, by canceling George Washington, by canceling good men and women who were good. They were not perfect. And not holding them to perfection as a standard, a utopian standard that nobody, neither you nor I, will ever live up to. We need to get back to a place of less utopia and more reality. And then the reality that I live in and the reality you live in is a complicated, effing, messy place where people do the best they can where they are with the intention that they bring into it. And if they don't, then we need to hold them accountable. Or even if they do, we might need to evolve their message. But evolution is not revolution. And we need to stop revolting against decent people who are doing the best damn they can where they are. Give them a chance. Give them a seat at the table. Give them a voice and enter into that conversation and bring your voice. Enough monologues. Let's have a dialogue. Let's learn from the other and let's stop seeing the other as other. See them as brother. Let's see them as sister, right? As my teacher, Dr. Viktor Frankl, said, there's only one race, the decent race, or two races, the indecent. So let's win this race. Let's stop fighting amongst ourselves. Let's stop canceling ideas and books and, God forbid, people, because nothing ever good comes when you cancel anything or anybody. We have got to see the divine spark. We've got to enter into the conversation. We've got to, yes, hold each other accountable and inspire each other to a higher standard, but a standard of evolving goodness, not of a revolution of perfection. What we need is not cancel culture. What we need is conscious culture. If you are interested in having the conversation, and I don't care what conversation it is, I would be honored to have a conversation, a true conversation with you. Until the next time, and hopefully it's not cancel culture, it's all of the things that make up conscious culture, because that's what Soul Centered is about, and that's the work that I do with you. Until the next time, shalom, salam, namaste, peace.